for the hidden message in today's story. Now, you would think that it would be impossible to catch your own killer once you have already died. But in this case, not only is it possible or plausible, it happened. Candice Parchment was 15 years old and she was living in Clayton County, Georgia with her mother, Kathy Hyatt. And she was an aspiring writer attending Forest Park High School, and she had a very bright smile. She was extremely amiable and by all means had a promising life ahead of her. Now, Candice was very close with her mother following their immigration from Jamaica for a different, much better life. So it was very uncharacteristic for her to suddenly leave home on April 28th, 2010. Now, Kathy actually couldn't get a hold of her daughter despite trying multiple times. She just kept calling and calling over a 6-hour period, and then she drove to report her missing. However, Kathy did receive 2 text messages from Candice's phone in the days that followed, saying that she was in Tennessee and okay. But her mother didn't believe that she was the one who actually sent these text messages, just because of the way they were written, and so she continued to search for her. And then in November 2010, this search ended when authorities found Candice's remains under an old mattress in a wooded area close to her home. Now, the autopsy revealed that she was stabbed and strangled to death. Okay, so for this story, we're going to have to go back a couple months. And 3 months before Candice's disappearance, she had survived an attempted sexual assault on her. On January 5th, 2010, Kathy was, just driving around looking for her daughter. And she noticed that this person had sneaked out when she pulled into this abandoned house's driveway. And then only to see Candice rushing out scared and afraid. But back then, Candice only told her mother she was attacked, but didn't tell her who it was. And despite Kathy's insistence, Candice didn't go to the police about it either. Now, sadly, more than 3 months later, she suddenly disappeared, with her body, as I said, being found November 2010. Also, what's horrible though, is that the case didn't move forward until Kathy found Candice's diary while prepping for a move in October 2011. And she had an entry in that journal for the fateful January day. And the 15-year-old had identified her attackers as Marche Hickman and Jermaine Robinson, 2 teenagers from that area. According to the diary, it said Jermaine hit her in the head with a rake, and then Marche blocked the door to prevent her from running away. Jermaine then choked Candice while Marche groped young Candice. Now, around the time of the attack, Kathy had called Candice and spoke for a little bit. She had also come by the abandoned house, leading to the 2 men panicking and leaving. Now, it turned out Marche had also that day threatened to kill Candice if she told anyone what happened. So now we know that when Kathy, Candice's mother, drove into that abandoned driveway, that's why she saw somebody running out, and that's why she saw Candice coming towards her in a panic. Now, upon learning this information, the authorities looked into the duo and realized Marche was already in custody on an unrelated burglary charge. Now, when questioned, he initially denied being involved in the matter at all, yet later admitted to placing his arms around Candice's neck and squeezing until she went limp. Now, while there was evidence of that, there was also evidence that Candice was stabbed, and Marche only confessed to strangling her, though he did claim to have blacked out when it happened, before adding that he returned to the place several times to confirm that her body hadn't been found. Now, the remains were actually located near the apartment complex where Marche lived, and Jermaine later stated that he told him to hit Candice and choke her, threatening to kill them both if he didn't comply. Now, at Marche Hickman's trial, April 2013, he apologized for what had happened in a letter by stating, "I am sorry for what I have done. I was in a wrong state of mind. and this haunts me every day. I wish I could bring her back. Marche, who was then 21, was eventually found guilty on the charges of malice murder, felony murder, false imprisonment, attempted sexual assault, involuntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and concealing a death. But the defense had claimed that Jermaine was likely the killer because he knew more about the crime, especially as he'd once talked about Candice being stabbed. Now, furthermore, Marche's attorneys claimed her client was coerced into a confession and was interrogated for extremely long hours. Yet, in the end, the evidence spoke for itself, leading to him getting sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 20 years. In fact, Marche was even handed down a concurrent 50-year sentence for the attack and attempted sexual assault. Now, on the other hand, Jermaine pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and testified against Marche in exchange for 10 years behind bars. Now, from what I can tell, Jermaine has now been released. And I guess he's kept himself out of trouble and kind of remained on a low profile, with his last known location being Forest Park in Georgia. But when it comes to Marche, he is currently serving his sentence at Telfair State Prison in McRae, Helena, Georgia, where he's expected to remain for the rest of his life. I hope you all enjoyed the story, and if you found the hidden clue in today's story, please place it in the comments with the timestamp. And not only will you get pinned, but also all the pinned people in 6 months will be up for a surprise giveaway. So do that right now, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.